Okay, yeah, we'll get right into it. There's 12 people here. There's 18 signed up, so they can always just join us as we get started. Stocks Explained to the Beginner, episode 20. We discussed the top 10 companies this week. My name is Brian Reich. MakeStocksFun.com is my website. If you want a transcript of today's seminar, feel free, go to MakeStocksFun.com under blogs, and all these get updated there along with video, YouTube video as well. Our quote of the week: opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble. That's from Warren Buffett. Funny with money quote: buying stock is like buying a bar of soap. The longer you wait, the smaller it gets. That is the pain point of most people, the procrastination. I appreciate everyone being here and spending time on your stock development. I know you want to learn how to generate wealth in retirement income via the stock market. My name is Brian Reich. I'm a successful stock investor. My goal is to be a stock millionaire. In these sessions, I want to pass on my knowledge of wins and losses so you can enjoy the success I've had today. Last week, we discussed grow 500 into 5,000. On this show, we'll discuss methods and use the market as our guide to hit the goal in a few years. If you missed last week's episode, you should check it out. And this is an interesting conversation this week, and one that keeps changing, as time goes on. The best 10 companies can be interpreted different ways, so let's dive in and see if we can pinpoint what the 10 best companies are. And by the 10 companies, are they the one with the most revenue, one with most employees, companies that return the most income, wealth to the investor, best branding, most recognizable as a global world powerhouse, most profitable, free cash flow, low PEs, things of that nature, most dominating over previous decades, the longevity, most dominating in the future, like as we go on to 2030. So let's talk about what we're noticing in today's economy, like what are the shifts that were taking place right now? Anybody, you're welcome to just chime in.
The shift in direction of what's leading the market or what's going on in the future?
Yeah, exactly. Like 4G to 5G would be an example of that.
Oh, yeah, obviously. AI and,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is everyone
shut down? There's different things like that.
Is everyone familiar with Chat GDP?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Has everyone used it like for your searches and everything like that?
Yes, yeah. I have not.
Okay. Yeah, it's once you use it, it's powerful. You always come back to it. And Google already, it just literally launched not too long ago, and Google's already feeling the hit to their web search by as much as 20%, they were saying. Just because, and they can actually, it's powerful too. Like if you want to spend the $20 a month, you can actually have it do applications and scripting your different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else worth mentioning in the shift?
I think a lot of people feel that things are, the pace of inflation is more than what's realistically comfortable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, the job market has evolved so much in the last 50 years and is starting to change more. Some people think that in order to get some sort of pay raise, you need to make like a lateral move within your industry.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I was also going to mention like the things with like the government shutdown, what's going on with that, the situation in Ukraine, and what all is going on with that, as far as the billions of dollars that's at least from my understanding, that they're working out with the president there.
Right. And then we have, Social Security Administration, they're always admitting that they don't have enough. They've been talking about that for decades now, but, they've been hinting at 2033 is a year that they figured out like 10 years from now, there's going to be a 25% something cut that they're going to have to make to adjust. And that's going to hurt a lot of people, that are retired now and things like that. If that's true, obviously, there's 10 years, so there's a lot of things that are going to change. And we've seen the changes with driverless cars and just other things that you notice on the street, more 5G towers are coming up, and like, AI, the Chat GDP. Anything else that you guys noticed or think that's...
I noticed food, like the food industry.
The food?
It's going to be changing big time.
And how so?
In a lot of ways. First of all, delivery service is going to be primary for most family. Also, food is going to be more like regulated because of what's going on in our society.
Okay.
It's it's causing a lot of health issues.
Yeah, that's true. And it does seem like there's an issue with our soil. And that's an interesting topic. I listened to a gentleman on Joe Rogan. He talked about the depletion of our soil over, since this has been going on since the 70s because, more people, the boom and whatnot in the population, and just trying to get more food to people in a rapid rate has really, and you have these machinery and nothing to replenish what you're taking out of the soil. So if you've seen like lack of quality at, I know fast food is a poor example, but just at your grocery store and things like that, other people from different countries definitely notice it, when they come here to visit or what have you, that there's definitely a decline in the U.S. when it's to our meat and different produce and different products like that. And then the delivery system too is worth mentioning because Bezos always talked from Amazon about drones and drone delivery, and that's been going on since like 2017. But when you break it down at its root, ask yourself what companies are making the most impact to your lives, i.e., what products can't you live without? Imagine, if your phone disappears, like what kind of panic that would bring you. That's one thing that, continues to be more incorporated with our lives, right? Like our credit card is on there, payment, everything. It's like almost your life disappears if you lose your phone. And what products do you notice that you're forced into needing? What happens if the internet went down and you're used to ordering from Amazon? Maybe you have, routine food delivery from Blue Apron or something like that, And these are questions that are important because when you start asking yourself these questions, then you start understanding what companies are going to be relevant for a very long time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. FANG is a term used since 2015. Is everyone here familiar with this acronym?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. And, back in the day, it was all about railroad, steel, and car. Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller led the industry because you couldn't do anything without them. And here's what we're looking at in today's world of technology. Zuckerberg and Bezos, the Apple and Google guys. Why are these companies you feel are considered unstoppable? Or do you feel that way?
They have a moat.
Okay. And for people that are not familiar with that, could you explain that a little deeper?
Well, it's something Warren Buffett strongly believes in when he looks at companies.
Okay.
Basically, they have a brand, like something that just protects them from any sort of like fluctuations in the market or demand, like that is not replaceable. Like, for instance, Coca-Cola, the name Coca-Cola, everyone knows it. It's not going anywhere. Everyone loves it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I can't explain it better.
No, that sounds pretty good to me. And I just think, that there's higher powers that are embedded with them too, right? Like just a endless stream of cash, if you would. Mm-hmm. If anything needs to be funded, it can happen, right? I mean, you look at Elon Musk and, he wants to fly a Tesla into orbit. It happens. He wants to build underground tunnels in LA. they give him the keys to the city and just say, here you go. You know, and it just...
Well, he's doing that in Vegas now.
Yeah. So, I mean, he has a lot of different things that he's involved with. And these people, I think, you know, they just have the reins, you know, and it's like Adam was saying, they're just pretty much going to be relevant for all the time that we're alive, 2030 and beyond, for sure.
Well, I've heard that Amazon is doing so well that the government is looking at them as a monopoly, and they want to, you know, they broke up AT&T, or the phone company, years ago, and they're looking to do the same thing with Amazon.
Yeah, and I don't know how you would tackle that, and a lot of this stuff I think is preventative maintenance, right? So people want to sue or whatever, you know, they can cut it off at the root, but I think Bezos is an elite, you know, and I think he's way beyond politicians and whatnot. And
he's like a Musk.
Yeah. Yeah, Zuckerberg, Musk, you know, Bezos, they're all in the same.
They can see the future.
If you hear them talk.
Visionaries.
Yeah. Just hearing them talk even, you know, just the way they speak and how they use their mind, they're very intellectual, and this way they talk is beyond like human, average human and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about these top 10. You know, it's a roller coaster ride like the stock market itself. We're just trying to whittle this down and to have a fun, playful discussion. You know, Apple, first stop on our, financial tour, they put the eye in innovation. Not only did they revolutionize smartphones with the iPhone, but they've also become a tech giant with the knack for turning out hit products. If you ever own an iPhone, MacBook, or Apple Watch, you're part of the global cult of coolness, for sure, you know. And once you have like an iPad or anything, and there's just nothing that really compares to the durability of an iPhone, iPad. And a fun little fact, if you remember watching Forrest Gump when it was taking off, Run, Forrest, Run, it's kind of funny because if you invested in Apple when that movie was popular, you could also worry about one less thing. And second on our list, Amazon. We got the e-commerce giant, Jeff Bezos, started this as an online bookstore, but now it's an everything store. You can buy a lawnmower, a book about mowing lawns, and even lawn gnomes, all in one place. Amazon delivers everything, including smiles, with its Prime service. The third company on our list is Microsoft. It's Bill Gates and his team. Microsoft have been powering computers and businesses around the world for decades. From Windows to the cloud with Azure, they're like the wise old wizards of the tech world, always there when you need them. Fourth is Google and Alphabet. They changed their name to the Jedi Master of the Search Galaxy. You need answers, Google's got you covered. Plus, they're the self-driving cars and moonshots. Google, like the friend who's good at everything, a true renaissance company. Facebook is fifth. And speaking of friends, here's the social media giant, Meta Platforms, formerly known as Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg creation changed the way we connect and share cat videos. It's like a never-ending high school reunion online, minus the awkward slow dances. Sixth, Tesla. Now let's shift gears to something electrifying. Tesla, Elon Musk's brainchild, has taken the world by storm with electric cars and renewable energy. Musk is like a modern-day Iron Man, but instead of a suit of armor, he's got electric cars and dreams of colonizing Mars. Berkshire Hathaway, seventh. Time to talk about the Oracle of Omaha. Warren Buffett and his empire at Berkshire Hathaway. If you want to learn the art of value investing, Buffett's your guru. He's like the wise grandpa of investing, and his annual shareholder meetings are legendary, dubbed the Woodstock of capitalism. Buffett and Lynch are my stock gurus, my personal ones. We discussed Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway stock. What is the share of one stock, by the way? Anybody know?
More than 2,000?
I'm sorry?
More than 2,000?
Way more.
Way more. Does anyone want to take a stab at it?
189 or something? I've forgotten now.
577.
Oh my God.
577,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, per share. I recommend these books. Buffett book was Interpretation of Financial Statements. Peter Lynch, One Up on Wall Street. Those are a couple of my favorites. Eighth on the list, Johnson & Johnson. Now I get back into health with Johnson & Johnson. These folks are the champions of baby shampoo, Band-Aids, and vaccinations. They're like the healthcare superheroes, saving lives one Band-Aid at a time. And they even have the baby powder empire. Ninth on the list is Procter & Gamble. From healthcare to consumer goods, we've got P&G. You might know them, but they definitely know their products. From Tide to Pampers, they've got your daily life covered. They're like unsung heroes of the household. And 10th, Visa. Last but not least, we have Visa. These guys are the gatekeepers of digital payments. If you ever bought anything online or used a credit card, you probably dance with Visa. Make money move like a smooth tango. So what do you guys feel about this list? Do you think this was accurate by the mainstream media? Is there anything you would sub out?
I think it's very accurate. Those 10 right now are very accurate, but of course, you'd like anything, how long are they going to be up there?
Well, 2030, right? I mean, I don't see Visa having any issues. Yeah, I mean, you have Square and PayPal, and like I was saying, Whole Foods, in the self-checkout lines, you can pay with your palm somehow.
Yeah.
So maybe that affects Visa's business, but will it change by 2030? I mean.
Oh, good point. 20. That's right. That's only a few years down the road.
Yeah, and they have so much at their disposal. They're buying companies left and right.
Yeah.
And they're aware. They're a smart company that's innovative, and they're aware of the competition. Mm-hmm. And they probably have their own team working on AI and things like that, so they can be a part of the changes as we encounter them. And when you get down to it, we're talking about adaptability, right? It's the companies that adapt that will remain in play, and these companies that have the technology, they're definitely going to be around for a long time. So, any other thoughts before we
Brian, I have a quick question. How are we supposed to even buy stock in these companies when they're so high?
Well, that's a great question. And what I recommend is don't follow the news blips. What we want to do, like last week's session, is something like this, where we have an Excel spreadsheet and we go year from year. We analyze the lows and highs of 3 years and plan it out. Really do the homework in knowing what you're getting into and in the future. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because then, don't fall for anything that you read in the news. We don't inspect, instead of expecting, we inspect.
Also, don't they, I think some of the brokers, they allow you to buy partial shares.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Berkshire, when a company's that big, like 570, 700,000, a lot of people they know can't afford that. They do B and then Class C shares as well. That way, they're more affordable. And a lot of companies, when they reach a certain dollar amount, that's why they split. So then, like Amazon did. Amazon was flirting with $1,000 to $2,000, and now, it's about $100, $200. Tesla did the same thing. They were $2,000 and they came down to $400. Now they're sitting at $249. Well, great session, guys. I had a great time. If anybody has anything to chime in, now's the time. Otherwise, we're going to wrap her up.
Why do companies split?
Thank you.
Yeah, why do companies split?
Adam, what were you saying?
I was just curious, why do companies split their stocks? Or do they have different reasons? Like, do different companies have different reasons of doing so?
Great question. And absolutely. And that's the main reason they do it is affordability. So it doesn't look that expensive. So your
Price gets too high, yep.
Yeah, common Mr. and Mrs. Smith can go out and feel comfortable about buying the shares. The other reason is the funds. Some index fund, what happens is like the S&P 500, they're always, adding companies on, taking companies off, and they have strict requirements, and sometimes the price is too high. So what they'll go ahead and do is they'll make a requirement of this price has to be this way, and then they'll do the splits accordingly. Other than that, stay around for next week. I do my prediction on what's in the store for the stock market for the next 5 to 10 years, and I'll have some intriguing data for you guys. Does that sound good?
Excellent.
Have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.